This episode of On the Line is presented to you by Living.fit, your one stop for all your fitness needs. Make sure you go download the app Living.fit today. Now here's the show. Welcome to On the Line. Today is Tuesday, August 2nd. We got an awesome show today. We got Ultimate Fighter finalist Zac Pauga on the show. No big deal. Awesome interview. One of our better conversations. And also, it's August. No more months left with no football. Great time of the year. We're just kicking into the best sports season of the year. So after we wrap up with Zach, got our performance bonuses and our fight of the night for UFC 277. Very fun card. And then we wrap up with our winners and losers. So without further ado, if you're listening on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Listen on Apple, Spotify, Deezer, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platform. Hit the follow. Leave a review like one of the cool kids. But before we dive into Zach, also still looking for the co-host. You guys at this point, if you're still listening, go to my Twitter. Go to the top of my profile. I have it linked right there. Fill it out if you think you can be our co-host. So without further ado, let's dive on into Zac Pauga. We are joined by a very special guest. He is competing to become the new Ultimate Fighter in the UFC. We are joined by Zac Pauga. Zach, my man, how is Colorado?
It's good. It's a little hot right now, but it's good.
And then, so as we were talking about this a little bit before, and I thought we might as well just get on into it. So you just got back from London. You didn't even adjust your sleep schedule. You just went straight from London. Make sure you're in the corner for Curtis Blaydes to get the fat dub, and then you're already back in. You're already back in the hometown.
Yep, exactly. That's what we do. We're teammates. You know, people like to downplay the team aspect of fighting, but I can't do what I do without him, and he can't do it without me.
So when'd you leave? When'd you leave London to go back, get your direct flight to and from Denver?
We left London at 11 a.m. on Sunday, and then we land, just because the time change, we land at 1 p.m. here in Denver, but it's an 8-hour flight.
Okay. And so for you, though, like, so you were also talking about before, like, you never even changed your sleep schedule. It's like, well, what were your hours then when you were in London? Like, what were
so because it was an 8-hour difference. So when it's noon here, it's 8 p.m. there. But Curtis was going to get in the cage at 10 p.m. and fight. So we didn't really have any reason to switch our sleep schedule because we spar at 2 o'clock anyway. So that's the time his body's used to fighting. And I didn't want to have to go through flipping it over there and then coming back and flipping it for my last week of camp. So we just stayed up until 4 in.the.morning every night and then woke up at 1 p.m. for a week and just lived life like that for a week.
It's not too bad. Did Curtis ever go to Fight Island? I don't think he did he?
He went to Abu Dhabi before it was Fight Island. He went one time when it was open before the pandemic.
So I'll say he probably has experience in kind of dealing with that, where you just kind of don't really switch your schedule. You kind of you stay the same. It's just really weird hours, and it's kind of just kind of a weird.
It's just weird because you're walking around at night. Your body's kind of weird when it's daylight out and you're still trying to sleep.
Yeah, just got to make sure you cover the curtains, get some black cloth or something covered up, so it really feels like it's at night. It's a little weird. It is a little weird. So like I'm assuming you had some pretty close seats then when you're at the fight, right? Or because you weren't in the corner.
I was in the corner. I was in.
You were in the corner.
Yeah, as close as you can get.
So you were there. Oh, that's right. I saw the picture of you just kind of watching as you were throwing strikes. So obviously it wasn't the fight it wasn't the way you wanted it to end. You got the result you wanted, but not the way to get the result. When you're sitting there, I mean, obviously it felt like I don't want you guys to give away the game plan or anything, but it felt like Aspinall was being real reckless, and it kind of felt like Curtis was going to get that KO. I feel like you guys had to be a little disappointed. Obviously you're disappointed that didn't go the exact way you wanted it to go, but you have to be like, dude, we were on the verge of a knockout and really making a case for a title shot.
So you're 100% right. I'm super disappointed because the way Aspinall was fighting, that fight was not going to last a whole round. Aspinall was coming in crazy, chin high, hands low, pushing this crazy pressure, and Curtis was tagging him, and Curtis had his timing. There was no way that Tom could have fought like that for 25 minutes.
No. And I kind of noticed this too, was like when Tom went down for the knee injury, I thought that was just because Curtis clipped him. That's what I thought at first. I'm assuming that's what you guys all thought too. Yeah,
he countered the kick perfectly. Right hand hit just below the chin, hit him in the chest, and we thought he knocked him out, but it was the knee.
It wasn't he. Were you able to join them though for the beer afterwards? I heard kind of afterwards because it's like, shit, I feel even worse because he's such a cool guy afterwards.
He was a great guy, yeah. So we chatted it up with him, went up to his room after the fight. He was a great guy. His coaches, his teams, they were all really good people, really hospitable to us. And, they didn't hold anything against Curtis. It was a great experience.
It's a lot easier. I mean, that's the real love of the game. That's what real MMA is about. It's all about the love, camaraderie, all that kind of shit. But before we move on into this Ultimate Fighter finale, I do want to ask, who hits harder, Uberim or Blaydes?
So here's the thing. Nobody on the planet knows how strong Curtis Blaydes is until you feel him in the cage for the first time. He hits so hard without even trying. Like, yes, Alistair's scary. He's big. He's mean. He's a great striker. Curtis is the strongest human being on the planet.
I feel like that's why him getting his striking together and seeing that progression he's had on the feet, it's just scary. It is really scary. He's in what was it? I forget how old he is, but I know he's
32.
Yeah,
32.
That's 32 is being 26 in any other division. That's
young.
He
can fight for 15 more years if he wants to.
Exactly, and that's why you're fine. You're 34. You're good for another 10 years. I mean, it's fine. Exactly. In the heavier divisions, you're good to go. But real quick, are you going to stay in heavyweight, or are you going to kind of float between 205 and heavyweight?
So I like a lot of the matchups in the bottom of the heavyweight division. I do plan on getting some fights at heavyweight, trying to burn this Ultimate Fighter contract out as a heavyweight. But, when I say that I want to be UFC champion, I mean light heavyweight champion.
So do you have to fight then a heavyweight because of the Ultimate Fighter contract?
Technically, yes. They can only offer me they can do whatever they want. Yeah. And at the end of the day, they could offer me any fights that they want to offer me. But my contract says, heavyweight. So technically they're under no obligation to offer me light heavyweight fights.
Yeah. And so interesting. That's really interesting. But I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, how long is it? Three fights? Or
6 fights. Six fights.
Yeah. Whatever. They'll throw you to light heavyweight. They'll do it this best.
So like I said, I really like the bottom of the heavyweight division, especially not cutting weight. I could fight after this fight with Muhammad. I could fight 2 more times before the end of the year, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah. And then also, I mean, if you look at the heavyweight division too, I mean, no offense to heavyweight division, it's not the deepest. It's not.
It's weak. It's
crazy.
Weak.
You can be ranked by the end of the year if you hit 3 fights.
Yeah, no,
exactly. Legitimately. It's crazy. But it is what it is. And so now you're going to the Ultimate Fighter finale. Unfortunately, it's not in front of fans. It's on August 6th. It's next Saturday. Does it kind of feel like after being in UFC London in that environment, kind of being around those fans, going from that to going back to the Apex, does it kind of feel like you're going back on the show? I guess I'm just going to go back to the Ultimate Fighter, but I guess I'd have my phone and stuff.
Maybe a little bit. I do love fighting in front of the fans, and I've, had the pleasure of walking out with Curtis in London at O2. In Ohio. That stadium was sold out. I walked out with Alistair in China. That stadium was sold out. And I love fighting in front of the fans, but at the end of the day, I just got to get the job done. I'm in no place to make demands right now. If they want me to fight Muhammad behind the Walmart, that's what I'll do.
Probably might be it'd be no holds barred. What was the WWE thing? It was anywhere, falls anywhere match.
Hardcore matches. Yeah.
It'd be just like that. No rules mode. But so obviously again, you're having that fight. And just real quick before we dive into the MMA journey itself, is I know you used to be a senior criminal investigator. Was it real life, CSI, Law and Order kind of stuff, or was it just kind of tame, we found a pound of pot?
So it's the real life Law and Order. It's the real life Law and Order, which isn't that exciting. It's 99% of the time it's just paperwork and stamping paper and making sure people's birth dates are correct and making sure that what they wrote down in their statement, they're going to say at trial. But then there's a 1% of the time that it's actually chasing people and grabbing people and pulling them into the car and getting them to court and things like that.
Did you ever have that moment where you're dude, I'm on a movie right now? This is literally people are oh, this is my life's a movie. Did you ever have that moment where dude, this could be a TV show, what I'm doing?
So on patrol, I did when I was I started as a patrol officer. There was plenty of times on patrol where I was I can't believe people are paying me to do this. But the higher up I got, as a detective and stuff like that, there's definitely important cases, and it's a very serious job, but it is not like the movies make it out to be.
No, it's not. It's not. Did you get it big? So then, like, you kind of had, but your careers, I'm like, in terms of like adrenaline rushes, I feel like you've had adrenaline rushes in so many different aspects, from college football, NFL, fighting in the cage, and now the criminal investigation thing. If you had to rank them, how would you rank it?
So fighting is definitely, well, being a cop, being on the street, and someone thinking someone pointing a gun at you, that is, there's nothing that can compare to that. But fighting is definitely above football or rugby. Just the aspect of getting in the cage, knowing that this guy's been working his ass off for 8 weeks and he just wants to rip your head off. And then you can hear the cage doors lock. And it's a weird thing. You can't hear it from the crowd, but inside you can hear them lock the cage. And it's like, I always hear that. I'm like, I guess it's on.
Even with fans, you can hear it. Even you can hear it. Like even with the fans, you can hear it. Oh, that's kind of crazy. Did you hear it for Curtis's fight then? Even that one?
No, I didn't. It's just weird. It's something about standing in the middle. You can hear them lock the doors.
That's interesting. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're like listening for it or something.
Yeah.
Like you're more intent and like, all right, this is it. We're like, there's no backing out. Like we are all the way in. We're all the way in. It's kind of wild. Exactly. It's kind of wild. I'm like bouncing back and forth. So I keep like remembering like questions I was thinking of while you answer. I'm like, oh, you do this, this, and this. When you were walking down London, can you remember like what the fans were yelling at you guys? Like, can you remember a specific thing? You're like, oh wow, that was kind of out of pocket.
So, I mean, they were calling us wankers, which was funny. That's like British slang, but it was cool. So they like turned the lights off and made it all red, and they were booing us. And I like that. I like being the bad guy walking into the cage. And so it was kind of cool. But then I do remember there was one fan, everyone's booing Curtis, calling him a wanker. And then one fan just yells out after him, just goes, Zach, London loves you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
All right, I'm in. I'm with the people. I'm with the people. I thought you were going to be like, I feel like one of the funniest things, like, you know, there's that one where someone yells like, grab his dick and twist it. What if someone just yells, Curtis, I'm going to suck your dick? You're like, wait, what?
None of that. And so the grab his dick and twist it. Every show, someone's going to yell that.
Oh,
every show,
it's like mashed potatoes or get in the hole.
Just
it's
bleed.
Just like
like just bleed. That's one of another thing. Someone's going to yell just bleed every single fight. Yeah.
It is what it is. So let's go back to the Ultimate Fighter. You're making their turn against Muhammad Usman, who was kind of weird. You have all the people that are there. He was the one guy you knew before. He was your teammate, and now you're fighting him in the finale. You kind of said that too in the pre-show. You're like, yeah, I hope it's the finale between us. Is it now that you're there? You're like, well, obviously, yeah, I want to fight him, but you're also like, man, maybe we're gonna beat with the other guys.
You know, the thing is, I knew he was going to make it to the finals. I knew the two of us, if they didn't make us fight in the finals, or in the house, I knew it would be the finals between us. Just the preparation and the camps that we come from and that we do, you know, we approach fighting like we're already in the UFC. Half the guys on the show were like part-timers or, you know, doing their best, juggling jobs and fighting and putting their effort into it, but not really full complete fighters. So I knew that if they didn't make us fight each other in the house, that we'd be facing each other in the finals.
And this is the second time you faced a teammate, because your semifinal matchup was against someone else who was on your team. So you've kind of already been through this little thing of like, all right, I'm fighting someone I know, or he hasn't really gone through that yet. So that's got to be a little bit of an advantage. Yeah.
I mean, there was a little bit of drama this season about like talking to people on other teams and blah, blah, blah. At the end, when this thing is all done, I will have fought more people from Team Pena than I did from Team Nunes. So this team thing, to me, it means nothing.
It was kind of Mickey Mouse. It's also kind of Mickey Mouse that none of your fights count towards your professional records. That kind of upsetting. You're like, my record should really read 7-0. Like, yeah, my record should be a lot better.
Yeah, these other guys that I knocked out, they're probably happy about it. But me, I want those 2 wins on my record. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then it looks better like when you're making your walk on next Saturday. It'll show 7-0, an extra knockout.
There's no reason that they should not go on my record. Those guys were trying to kill me in that cage, and I was trying to kill them. Like, there's no reason that these are, it's an exhibition fight. Like, no, you guys aren't really trying that hard. These were some of the hardest fights I've ever had. Like, they should definitely go on my record.
Yeah, that's one of the things that blows my mind. Like, you guys are wearing pads. You're not doing like any of the amateur stuff. Like, this is like, you can use elbows, you can use knees. You guys can do literally whatever you want. Like, it's Did you? And I know it's kind of a crazy thing. It's interesting how they do it, but it is what it is. We're in the finale. And so I know like before you got on the show, like you quit like 5 months before from the CSI job. And did you like, is this going to be your first full camp going into a fight? Like full camp?
Yeah. Yes. This is the first time that I've been able to commit everything to fighting. I did like a little mini camp getting ready to go on the show, but this is my first time having a known opponent, having a known fight date, and doing a full camp for it.
It's got to help that you have the teams you're with. I know Muhammad's got a great team with Ram too, but like it's got to be a little bit like, all right, I got a full camp. Does it feel different going into it in terms of like now you have like more preparation, or almost like maybe I'm almost too prepared for this? At the end of the day, it is a fight, and when we get inside the cage, sometimes it's like everything kind of goes out the window.
So it's giving me a little bit of anxiety how good I feel. I've checked every box. There's nothing I haven't done. I feel amazing. I'm doing great in camp, and I've never done this before. Like usually there's always something like, oh, we're taking this short notice. I'm not really in shape. I guess we got to hope we finish it quick, or like worrying about other things. I've checked every box, and I have this like, it starts off as like a sense of calmness, like peace, like I've done everything I can. And then it's like anxiety. It's like, well, we've never done that before. Like,
I mean, I'm 7-0 without it, so like, what's it going to be like? Like, it's kind of like it's like a superstition almost. Like, I'm undefeated, not having a full camp, but now that I have like a full camp, maybe it's going to throw me off. I don't know. You'll be fine though. And I'm not just saying this because you're on the show, but like, really, it's kind of fascinating when you watch your fights and your progression. It's kind of like the stand-up's gotten better, the managing distance has gotten better. I mean, and as you said, this is like the best you've ever felt, and it kind of feels like 2 more fights, so that means you would have 3 fights in 6 months at a heavy weight class. That's wild.
Yeah, man. And the show, they break it up. They break it up because for Hollywood and stuff like that. But 4 people fought per day, per fight week. It wasn't one group of fights every week. It was 8 people fighting 1 week, and then a week, and then the other 8 fight, and then 2 weeks, and we all fight again. So I fought 2 times in 3 weeks on the show. Like,
and when was filming of the show again? What was it like in
it was February. It was February? all of February. Yeah.
So that would put you. So if you get this goal of 3 fights, that would be 6 fights then in the past year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Again, it's kind of like it's very like the way you are as a bigger guy and then a bit like as a light heavyweight. Like you fight with pace and pressure, which is again something you don't really see in the higher guys. Now you want 6 fights, which is like I feel like you're bringing the lower man game into the big boys.
Yeah, and that's my game at heavyweight, basically. Speed, pressure, conditioning, and just breaking these guys in a physical sense. It's not even technique at this point.
It's just breaking them mentally, breaking them down in all aspects. And so, obviously you're not going to say lose decision, whatever. How are you going to break Muhammad Usman?
So he's super explosive. If you've watched his fights, if you watch him, he's a big, strong, super explosive guy. And it's just what we were just talking about, pace and pressure and defense. He's going to throw his big loopy shots, and I just have to defend him, let them roll off me, and then keep putting the pressure on him with striking and wrestling. Just the full complement of MMA, all aspects.
I feel like I'm assuming you watch his fight in the PFL. I have a very strong feeling it's like kind of similar to that, where you wear the storm through the first round, and then it's just you take over, and you kind of take, and it's just kind of he has nothing left. You have everything left for 2 more rounds, which is going to be hell for him.
Yeah, exactly. And like I'm not taking away from him. He's super explosive. He hits.
Oh, he's a freak athlete. Like
we were teammates, not just on the show, but for 2 years. He was on Team Elevation for 2 years. His brother Kamaru is still on Team Elevation. Like I've sparred with him 1,000 times. Like I know that he's strong, but I also know that it fades.
Well, and then the fact that you sparred with him too, I feel like you're going to get a lot of questions then over the next couple of weeks. She's like, oh, who won the sparring battles? Like, do you guys really know who the winner is in those sparring battles? Like, it doesn't. That was a while ago though, so it doesn't really translate.
And it's sparring.
Like that. Yeah,
it's sparring. You're not trying to win at sparring. You're trying to get better at certain aspects of your game that day.
Exactly. So it's a little bit different. That's why I always feel like that question is always so dumb. It is always so dumb. And so going back to your amateur career, I know like in your last amateur fight, you're supposed to do like a kickboxing fight. And before we get into the actual fight itself, was it supposed to be pro, or was that an amateur kickboxing?
So that one we actually took on like 18 hours notice, because the guy that was it was supposed to be an amateur kickboxing fight. We were trying to turn pro. I didn't want any more amateur fights. And the promotion that I'd been fighting for just called us and said, hey, this heavyweight missed weight for a kickboxing fight. Do you want to come in and take it? I was like, I guess, like, I'll show up and do it. We showed up and we weighed in. And then the guy, my opponent, asked to change it to MMA. And so, yeah, that's how that fight came about.
I'm assuming that backfired on him pretty badly.
Absolutely. So I don't know if he knew who I was or knew anything, but I wanted the kickboxing match because I was primarily a grappler at that point, and I wanted to be forced to use my stand-up and improve my stand-up. And then, yeah, when that guy was like, well, if you're going to switch the opponents, I want to be able to wrestle. I want to go in an MMA fight. We're like, all right.
Right. You just ragdolled him then. You just kind of just took him to levels.
Yeah, I literally took him down in the first round and ground and pound TKO'd him. But that was one of the fights I'm talking about. I took that on 12 hours notice, and I was just like, I mean, I'm not even in shape. I'm not in camp. Like, there was like almost no pressure. It was like, if I lose, it's because I have all these excuses, and went in there and did fine. And then now I'm on the flip side right now, where it's like,
where you have so much time. You've had months of training and preparation. How before obviously the results came out on the show? I mean, it's been a while since it wrapped up filming and stuff. Like, how hard was it to keep it a secret?
It was really hard for me because I won, because I knew that I was in the finals in the UFC, that it was hard for me. A bunch of people on the show, like, everyone on the show has been trying to keep their 15 minutes of fame going, chirping at me on social media and stuff like that. And I welcome it, and it's fun, but I couldn't even say, the whole time I just want to say, you guys all lost. Like, that you're talking to the guy who's going to win this whole thing. Like, what are we doing here? But I couldn't say that. So I just had to try and come up with other things.
I was gonna say, like, when you have that on social media, you can't be like, dude, I knocked you out, or like, dude, like, I beat you, or like, I'm in the finals. Like, why are you talking shit? You have nothing. You lost to the Ultimate Fighter. And so, like, did you tell I'm assuming you told your family, and like your camp knew, but so I feel like there had to be like family and friends maybe were reaching out, like, I can't tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone wanted to know. People I went to elementary school with that I hadn't spoken to in 20 years wanted to know. But my wife knew, obviously, and my coaches knew, especially since my coach Vinny Lopez cornered me for that last fight.
Yeah, I was like that, which was nice. So like, after like having this little like almost like isolation, was it nice to have someone in there like you're like actually really cool with for the first time in like weeks?
It was amazing. It was so great for Juliana to do that, because teammates always fight each other on the Ultimate Fighter, and it's always some weird, well, you guys aren't going to have coaches, or you'll get one coach, you'll get another coach. But she just put her foot down and said, both of you guys are my guys, and I'm not going to coach against either one of you. And so it was so nice, especially having my coach who's been with me since before. That is the man that taught me how to fight. I came in with no combat sports experience, and he's taken me from 0 fights up to where we are now.
When was like do you remember like the exact day like you started training? Like, not even like, I remember because you just like picked it up as a hobby. Like, do you remember like when you exactly started training?
So I remember when the exact day that I started training jiu-jitsu, because it was my daughter was born. She was born, and then a week later I was like, I got to do something with my life. Because I had played football, I played rugby, and I was done with both of them. And I was like, had a kid, and I was just like, I can't just do nothing for the rest of my life. I can't just be fat and out of shape for the rest of my life. So I got to do something. And it was jiu-jitsu, and went in there, and that's how it all got started.
So how long has it been now? Well, so how long have you like actually been training?
So I've been training jiu-jitsu. That was 5 years ago. I've been
5 years. So you've only been training for 5 years.
And then 3 years ago is when I started MMA.
That's crazy. And look out, and like I think that's the crazy thing about like your progression too. It's like literally every fight you just look so much better. It's like every fight you gain like 2 years of like people who've done it since like growing up. It's wild. It's really impressive. And so I feel like when you're in that spot too, like you were on the Texans for a year, You went to play rugby professionally with with Denver, and then they folded. Was that when they folded? Were you like, I guess I can't. I'm done being a professional athlete, and was it kind of frustrating? Like, I am a professional athlete. I should be a professional athlete, but it's just nothing's gone my way.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I didn't have the best mindset back then. I was, obviously physically talented, but I wasn't very strong mentally, and that's what hurt me when I was in the league and ended up getting me cut. And it's why I didn't necessarily like. There was other leagues. The Denver league folded, and there were other professional leagues overseas and things like that. And I just didn't really have the mental strength or belief in myself to really push and take a chance. This fighting thing took off when I took a chance and quit my job to go do it. When the pro rugby folded here in the States, I should have, if it was something I was passionate about or something I truly believed in, I should have gone overseas and played overseas and made a run at it. But I didn't. I was afraid, didn't think I was good enough, whatever. And then I was like, I guess I'm done playing sports. I'm 26, 27. I guess no one gets to play sports forever.
Oh, and then you kind of get a new life, a new thing. And so these are just some random questions I have before I move on to my intern here. When you're in the house, obviously, like, take away your phone, stuff like that. Like, what was your go-to thing to do, like, in your downtime?
So I did two things. I had a journal, and I would journal like just my thoughts and feelings, and also my like fight plan, what I was going to do for whatever fight I had coming up. And I filled up a whole book of just, my thoughts and feelings and fight preparation. And another thing was like visualization, just really sitting there and like putting myself mentally in the fight. And I wish they would have shown it. Like, people in the house would make fun of me because I would literally just sit in the backyard and just stare off into nothingness for like an hour, just having a full fight in my head and having it go all different kinds of ways. I come out and I get taken down and I have to fight back up, or I take him down, and just going through all these scenarios in my head over and over and over. So when it happens in real life, it's not the first time that I've been there.
I feel like whenever I have music, I can do that. But if I don't have music, it's impossible for me to do that. But no, I feel like that's the crazy thing about the show too, is just like, you guys have to find stuff to do. It's like literally, like, I think you've said this before. It was like a fighting temple. It was just like, you go there and just it's like becoming a priest, but for fighting. It's like you just go to trading school to become a fighter.
Yeah. So that's what you could treat it as, a prison or as a temple. And a lot of people, the house broke some people, especially some of the younger kids in the house. They were losing their minds, drinking, going crazy, like did not know what to do with themselves, just being locked in a house for a full day.
That helps out that some of the older guys who like grew up a little bit without their phones, things like that. Like, you guys know how to like live.
So it reminded me, and this made me funny, me and Bobby Maximus. He's 43, so he's a lot older than me. We were talking, like, that reminded me of my childhood. It reminded me of, being 6 years old in 1995. You didn't have anything. You had to find ways to, entertain yourself. When you went to the bathroom, you had to just read the shampoo bottle. Like, that's all there was to do.
That's literally all there was to do. Is like, you just read a shampoo. You'd read, like, if you were lucky to find a book, you'd read a book. It was just whatever you could find. Or you read like the nutrition information. Well, not nutrition, whatever the facts are on toilet paper, the rolls and stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, read that too. But and so again, more random stuff. So I know you fought with open scoring. Did you like it? I know that's a hot topic, but did you like it?
So my one fight that had open scoring, I KO'd the guy in the first round.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know if they did it again or not.
I am a fan of open scoring. The way MMA scoring right now is nonsense. It's ridiculous. It's the only sport in the world where you don't know if you're winning or not. And then, like,
you think you win and then you lose. It's just
the people make arguments that people will, like, fight passively in the third round if they know they're up. People already do that if they think they're up. There's no reason we shouldn't have open scoring. And then I think there needs to be way more overhauls to the scoring system. Like kickboxing, if you get a knockdown in a round, it's an automatic 10-8. I'm not saying that that's how it should be in MMA, but there should be things that you can do that score. If I know a takedown scores for every single judge, it'll change the way that I fight. Then if it's like, oh, well, this one judge is a high school wrestling coach, so all he cares about is takedowns. But this judge is a boxing judge, and he doesn't even score takedowns. It's
too inconsistent. It's so inconsistent. It just needs to be completely overhauled, but eventually it will. But we'll see when it actually does. But luckily, I mean, you get finishes, so that's all you really can do. And leave it out of their decision. Leave it out of their hands.
And then also say, just because we have judges is not a reason to not leave it to the judges. I hate it when people say, "Oh, don't leave it to the judges." It's like, you don't think I want to? I'm trying to knock these guys out. It turns out it's hard to knock out professional fighters.
Oh, isn't it crazy how you can't just go out there and just, I'm just gonna go out there and knock them out in a round. It's crazy how you can't just go out and do it.
No,
it's also
exactly.
I've said this too. It's like when they say like, you just don't leave it to judges. Well, what do you want me to do? Overextend myself and get clipped? Like, yeah. What do you want me to do? Just throw my life on the line for like one punch that probably won't might. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You can throw the hardest punch in the world, and if he rolls with it correctly, it's the beauty of the sport. And so one more thing, I know you played fullback. And I heard you didn't like it. What position did you want to play? I feel like for a guy who hits people for a living now, you would have loved hitting people.
So fullback is not a position, it's a condition. I was a running back in high school. I got to college and they were like, you're not that fast, but we'll put you at like H-back. So in college, I did a lot of receiving, caught the ball a lot, and carried the ball as well. Then when I got to the Texans, they're like, listen, man, we pay that guy over there $20 million a year to run the ball. If someone's going to run, it's going to be him. You're going to block for him. And it's like, there's some guys that make a great career, make a great living just being fullbacks that just lead block, and that's all they do. It just wasn't my game. It wasn't who I was. And it was super difficult for me to try and just become that at the highest level of athletics in the NFL.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I feel like that's too, like you were also, I feel like because that was like when Arian Foster was the running back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So when you were right before this like new era of like fullbacks too. Like now fullbacks are like a hot commodity if you're in the right system.
So yeah, and the Patriots are the ones that basically decide how the NFL plays. That was at the time where they had no fullbacks. They were putting linebackers at fullback. They had 5 tight ends on the roster and they were putting them at fullback sometime. So at that point, people thought the fullback position was dying. And then now obviously it's coming back.
It's crazy. It's crazy how the sport revolves around whatever Bill Belichick decides to do.
Exactly.
So let's move on into, that's what I got for you. Let's move on to my intern here. This is kind of like a game, a little bit different than what you've been used to. So he's going to ask a series of 5 questions. If you like the question, you answer it. But if you don't like the question, you have to tell him you don't like the question, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Sound good?
All right. Yeah.
All
right. Let's get right into this then. So as we were talking about for a good chunk of the interview, you were a 3-sport athlete. So if you were to add a 4th sport to your arsenal, which one do you think you would pick?
I've always really been a fan of like golf. Like, it's super low impact. It's the opposite of everything I've ever done. And I would really just love to be a golfer.
You golf like casually?
I golf casually. I'm not very good, but
neither am I. So it's like, no one's good. I think that's like the stigma that like people need to realize is like, no one's good.
Yeah.
Like I'd say the gap between like most professional athletes and like regular people is like, it's pretty big, but like between golf and like regular golfers, it's like even bigger because
massive.
Those pro golfers are insane.
Massive.
But all right. Question number 2. So would you rather go blow for blow in the octagon with an NFL tight end or a member of the New Zealand All Blacks?
NFL tight end. Absolutely. Rugby players are different. Rugby is a different sport than the NFL. And it's the closest thing to fighting that I've felt.
Yeah. And the New Zealand All Blacks, the hockey, right? They're like the most intimidating team I think I've ever seen out there. They are.
No, they're awesome. Beasts. They're the best in the world. They're the best in the world. Like, imagine if the Patriots won the last 30 Super Bowls. Like, it's
the dynasty to end all dynasties.
Yeah.
People don't give enough respect to the All Black dynasty. Too many people sleep on it.
Especially they play a worldwide sport and they're a country of 2 million people and they dominate it.
It's like if they won, like imagine if like they won the World Cup every year. Like that, I feel like then people would be like, oh, it's like if like Spain or Germany won the World Cup. Or like, oh, we talk about that. But I think it's almost become too normalized.
Yeah.
Like for them
it's a
winning.
big thing when they lose. When they lose, it's a makes headlines.
That's when it makes it. It won't really make headlines when it's like, oh yeah, All Blacks won another world title. But when they lose, it's everywhere. Like when LeBron doesn't make the playoffs, it's like such a massive deal. But all right, number three.
So you made a tweet recently that was like, why is food outside of the United States so much better than food in the United States? So what, in your opinion, makes that food like in London and England and everywhere you've traveled so much better?
So that was an honest question. I wanted to know for real. And what everyone told me is just the ingredients. Like ketchup in London has 3 ingredients. It's like tomatoes, sugar, and something else. Ketchup in America has like 100 ingredients, and it's all this preservatives, all this nasty stuff to make it be able to sit on a shelf for 5 years before it actually gets sold, or all this filler to make it cheaper. I just think it's a care about the quality of the food and not necessarily trying to make it as cheap as possible.
Real quick, there's a stereotype that the English do not season their food. Would you like to make that claim that they do, in fact, season?
So listen, I had a whole spiel prepared. I was ready. I was ready to go off on how bad English food was, but it was amazing. It was good, and I won't say English food, but the food I had access to there, the best Indian food I've ever had, the best Chinese food I've ever had, the best Mediterranean food I've ever had. The food in London was so much better than the food anywhere in the States that I've had. And I was prepared for it to be horrible.
Yeah. You can't just like go into you have to pick out like the best spots possible, because you can't just go into like some random spot off the street and get like, I don't know, whatever the hell British people like jelly.
Did you try the English breakfast? Did you try the English breakfast?
Well, and I've had English breakfast in New Zealand before, and I'm a fan of English breakfast, but I did, and I liked it.
Okay, I was gonna say I think that's too much flack. That gets too much flack. Yeah.
It's just like standard meals. Like,
listen,
nothing out there about it.
I'll die on this hill. The London food is better than American food. That's a hill I'll die on.
Honestly, I was out there in 2016, and the food I had no complaints either. So like, I don't understand where that stereotype came from, but yeah. Moving on, question number 4. I also noticed you're a big Magic the Gathering fan. So if you had to take one ability from that game to help you out in your fight game, which would it be?
Oh my gosh, that is a good question. That's a difficult question to ask, though. I go haste. Just haste, just speed. Speed wins, speed kills.
You got to make sure the hands are moving at a top speed along with the feet. Got to keep the footwork up. I feel that. All right. And question number 5. So which current NFL running back do you think would be best in the octagon?
I would say it's hard to tell because the fighting is so much more mental, but just physically, I'm pretty sure Derrick Henry could do whatever he wants to do in life, whether he wants to be a fighter, whether he wants to, be a golfer. I'm sure he would be amazing at whatever he wants to do.
If you walked into the bar I worked at, I'd ask him to get behind the bar and start making drinks. Yeah. I'm sure he'd do a hell of a job doing that.
Probably the best in the world.
Yeah, easily, probably.
Yeah, that's all I got for you. Got through the gauntlet.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming on. So before we let you go, if you have anyone to thank, some shout outs, this is your opportunity to do so.
Always my team elevation, Vinny Lopez, Cody Donovan, Curtis Blaydes. That's my corner. Those guys will always be with me. That's about it. All right, man. Appreciate you coming on. Good luck next weekend. We'll be cheering for you, and excited for you to begin this journey in the UFC. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Absolutely, man. You have a good one. That was a great interview with our man Zach. So that was a good little segue going into the football season with him. As you're going to hear a million times probably this week, he is a former football player at Colorado State University and former rugby player. But before we dive on into our winners and losers and why Cleveland is the biggest winners of the week, I want to dive into UFC 277. Hell of a card. Very fun card. It was I watched it at the bars. It was a good time. But anyway, let's move on to our bonuses of the night. Start with our performance bonuses. It goes to someone who didn't even fight on the card. It actually goes to a substance. It goes to Yair Rodriguez's cocaine. It was a hell of a drug that night. My
Hell
man
of a
was
drug.
flipping the fuck out. As if you didn't see this, there was a guy with Yair. I don't know if he was boys with Yair or not. But Yair's losing his fucking mind because Brandon Moreno won an interim title, which, by the way, kind of Mickey Mouse, very Mickey Mouse. So the fact that he was flipping out that much was kind of already weird. But you can see the guy on the side where he's just like, I want to risk my life at this point just to throw hands because this is really fucking annoying. And it was very fucking annoying. Yeah, you're freaking the fuck out. You have Davison Figueiredo right there. It was just, that guy was in a tough spot, very tough spot. But that was a very interesting performance.
Would have been would have been
that's
so funny if you let the intrusive voices win. Like,
would have loved it. Would have loved it if Yair Rodriguez would have just thrown hands on that guy because Yair Rodriguez is a fucking psychopath. But shout out to his cocaine. Shout out to the mix of the cocaine and the tequila. Shout out to Yair Rodriguez. My other performance bonus, I can't not say this. It goes to Drew Dober and his iron chin. He got hit with a shot right before he hit him with the final blow, or maybe it was in the second round. I can't remember. But it was right around the finish. He took a shot that would have put anyone else to sleep, and he just ate it like a fucking ham sandwich. The fact that he didn't go down was incredible. He continues to be just one of the more fun action fighters in that division. Just Bobby Green, put him up against next, but I love Drew Dober. That was an awesome fight. Awesome fight. And moving on, we're speaking of awesome fights. Let's go to the fight of the night. For me, it goes between MMA media and fans trying not to say Juliana Pena didn't get her shit rocked. Everyone kept saying, "Oh, she has that dog in her. She had all the toughest nails. That armbar almost got her." She got 50-42'd. That's she got fucked up. You can't, like, obviously it was one of those. It was like Amanda Nunes showed why she's the best, one of the best female fighters of all time. But it's just like you can say it for what it was. Pena did not look good. You can say it. It's fine. She didn't have a great performance. She had that little slither of hope with the arm bar, but it kind of shows like that like the GSP and losing to Sarah and the parallels are actually kind of crazy when you look at it. But no, dude, Pena got her shit rocked. So that's my fight of the night for people being afraid to actually say that. I mean, shout out. I mean, she was tough as nails, but it was not a good performance. Especially with the photo. Harrison, you're not gonna understand what I'm saying, but like when she was throwing a straight, like protecting her kidney, just leaving her face to get fucking rocked. Not only was there that, you had her running forward, throwing she's running forward, throwing the worst fucking strikes.
I saw that.
And then Amanda Nunes just pauses and clips her. Like that's some shit you see in like 1999 UFC. So
I was shocked to see that video look so modern. I was like, surely that's an old video.
That was a very tough scene for Juliana Pena. So let's move on to our winners and losers. Harrison, give me your first winner.
So my first winner, I cannot believe I'm going to say this. I'm giving it to Logan Paul. Dude showed up at SummerSlam and beat the shit out of The Miz. I mean, it's scripted, fucking obviously. But, like, he was actually impressive in the ring. He was pulling off flips. He did a huge spot where he did a frog splash to the outside of the ring and broke through a table. Like, if I didn't know he was already, like, a piece of shit and, like, didn't go to YouTube before he started wrestling, if he just jumped to the WWE, he might have so many more fans right now.
You're all right to like shit. Logan. Logan's likable. I like Logan. Like I'll say that. It's
more Jake. It's more Jake.
No one likes Jake. By the way, he's I love the fact that his fight got canceled. I love the conspiracy theory. It's
so funny
that the pay-per-views were just doing so bad, so that's why they canceled it.
I hope that's true.
There's about a 90% chance because no one was gonna buy that fight. We all illegally streamed.
They were all pirated. Yeah.
We all streamed that shit. So. That's the real reason it got canceled. But yeah, Logan Paul. I saw some of the highlights. I didn't believe it. Like that, he looked really good out there. He looks like a natural wrestler.
It was shocking. It did. I mean, I remember from his Vine days, he used to like post a lot of clips of him doing like, he
wrestled Paulo Costa once. He actually wrestled Paulo Costa once.
Like he's a good athlete. I'll give it to Logan Paul. Like, dude can jump into any combat sport and be like, I can do this pretty like decently. So,
speaking of Paulo Costa, he actually is my winner this week. If you're new to the show, you need to realize like I love Paulo Costa. I love him so much. He is the funniest.
This
dude
is a Paulo Costa friendly show.
We are not only we're Paulo Costa truthers. So he's his trend lately to be doing is he'll just randomly DM people with the same names as these other people, but they're not them. So you're a message some random dude named Jake Paul says, "Bro, you're not a real boxer. Nobody will ever consider you one. Keep fighting cans, douche. The Woodley fight was fixed, huh?" And then the guy's reply was kind of stupid. He's like, "Bro, you got the wrong guy. I'm older than the other Jake." Just like, you got the wrong Jake. What? And then
Bro, you got to know he's doing it for
immediately
that. Play
after,
along.
then immediately after, the guy accepted his message. Paulo Costa just yelled, "Sign the contract." He wished happy birthday to some random Dana White. That was pretty funny.
Gotta love Paulo.
For everyone who knows Chris Weidman and the old, "That's my boy," he did reach out to some black Chris Weidman and asked, "Are you still Dad's boy?" And then he reached out to Nate Diaz. "You really think you have a chance against Chimaev? He's just going to use you as a punching bag like everyone else you fight." He's like, "Dude, you got the wrong Nate Diaz." So shout out Paulo Costa for giving me entertainment on a day-to-day basis. And he's my winner because he's so fucking funny.
He's always a winner. Paulo Costa is just the GOAT.
So Harrison, you're loser.
My first loser goes to Calvin Ridley. And we were talking about it coming up on football season earlier. Man has a whole season to sit and think about how he made the worst decision possible by gambling. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson's just sitting there like, 6 games, I'll be back for 10. Let's go, baby. And it's like, what the fuck?
So Paulo Costa, real quick. I as we got done talking about Paulo Costa, he said it's a good idea to do some morning stretches after straight sex with women. I love Paulo, dude. He's so funny. All right, sorry, that's a little sidetrack. That was kind of perfectly timed. That was the first tweet I saw. Anyway, where were you?
Deshaun Watson being like 6-game suspension for me touching 30 women, easy.
Calvin Ridley,
what the fuck, NFL?
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley, I feel so bad for Calvin right now. He bet on his own goddamn team. And they're like, yeah, no, that's still against our rules. I don't care that you were trying to win even more now to make more money. You're throwing the game and ruining the integrity. Fuck off.
I understand. Like, so I'm going to play a little devil's advocate. I do think like betting in the NFL, all that is a terrible thing, but just the fact that the suspension's 6 games, I think that's where everyone's like, dude, this is a tough scene. But yeah, Calvin Ridley, man, this is a tough day. I'd sue the shit out of the NFL if I were him.
I would.
But it is what it is. I'm gonna go on to my first loser. It's Taylor Swift. So she's an environmentalist. She likes to support the world. But if you aren't aware, private planes, they kind of pollute the world a lot and kind of a lot of emissions, things like that. Her private plane has the most usage in the entire world. She gets the most distance, the most miles.
So but you gotta support the environment and go green, guys.
So the Swifties are in a tough spot right now. So yeah, Taylor Swift, you're a loser for being a two-faced bitch. Harrison, you're
why don't you take your private plane to your McDonald's or whatever?
You're
my next winner though, the American people. College football is coming back this month. We will not have a single month for the rest of the year where there is no college football, which means it's coming up on fall sports season. Football, basketball, hockey, playoff baseball, soccer back in the mix. We talked about it earlier, but it's the best time of year to be a sports fan. And God, I just love this time of year when it's just rolling right back around and you can feel the energy of the new season coming again. It's the best. And training camp's back underway. This is just peak time to be a sports fan. And hopefully the Hoosiers can do better than they did last season in football, because I don't want my last football semester in college to be depressing. So, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to move on to my next winner real quick. My next winner is Russell Wilson. So not only is he dialed in, not only is he's dialed in. Ride, not just riding.
That's right.
Not just dialed in. He's going to give his 300% every single time out.
And
I truly believe he thinks that is possible. I truly don't. I think he thinks there is a threshold above 100%. Like he says, I'm going to give 2%. I'm going to give 200%. Like we make fun of Jameis Winston and his like workout videos. Like Russell Wilson is like when we like actually want to make fun of somebody, like that's who you should be making fun of, because like he
lines it right up for us.
Yeah, it's too easy. I don't like Russell Wilson. I like him and I hate him. He's corny as fuck. Yeah. He's gotten more corny since he's come to Denver.
It should have been the other way around. He should have gone to the Midwest and become like less corny, but I don't know.
No, I don't know. West Coast vibes. You know, they're chill, they're relaxed, nice and cool. But
That makes it. I see it.
Russell Wilson,
But
he's a winner. He's a winner. He's dialed in. He's gonna give us
he's
300%.
locked in.
Harrison, your last loser.
My last loser is me, because the day finally came on Twitter that I was dreading for the longest time, and it finally happened, and I couldn't believe it. I got baited. I fell for a trap, and I should have looked further into it first, but I got baited. It was a fake Big Game Boomer account tweeting out, "Oh, these are the most popular sports by each state," and the first thing I saw was Indiana and football, and I was like, "No fucking way! You know the Hoosier states for basketball. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen." And so I tweet something like that, like, "No way! Notre Dame football's like big, but it's basketball." And then I take a look at the account, I'm like, "Fuck, no!" And I could have deleted the tweet, but I was like, you know what? Might as well own up to it. I took the L. So as in the words of Impractical Jokers, I'm this week's biggest loser. So fantastic.
And I'm gonna follow up. My loser was originally Calvin Ridley, so I had to improvise on this one just because I thought you were gonna say something Philly related. So I'm going to remove my last loser. Fuck. Oh, there we go. I forgot what it was. I had to double check it. My last loser is autograph collectors. So why am I saying that? Well, now there's a trend. Jerry Jones out there signing autographs. He's not signing babies. You can't buy babies off eBay. So losers are autograph collectors who just collect autographs and sell them. That was kind of on the spot. I didn't know how to put that one in there. So
no,
that was gonna be a shout out. Was Russell?
Yeah.
What was that? And then here we are. Anyway,
well, if you want something Philly related, I got a quick shout out. Shout out to Hitchbot, because this is the 7-year anniversary of the day that Philadelphia fucking destroyed it. So
I don't even know.
Screw
what that.
it was a Canadian robot that hitchhiked from province to province. It hitchhiked the entirety of Canada. First place it stops in the United States is Philadelphia, and it gets decapitated and thrown on the side of the road.
Oh, there's Philly history for you. There's some Philly history.
That's Philly history.
That's Philly history. Yeah, that's the show. That's what we got for you guys. We'll see you guys on Friday. So big fight. We got like 5 guys spotting this week, so it's gonna be a fun one. We'll have zero bias as usual. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with me all the way to the end. I just want to once again thank the sponsor of the show, Living.fit. If you're looking to better yourself, make sure you go to download the app or visit the website Living.fit today.